You know what really makes us mad? Is wasting money on CDs with only one or two good songs.
Yeah. Tell them about punk.
Hey everybody! Welcome to
real antagonistic with it.
Welcome to Punk Lotto Pod, you bunch of dorks. I'm your co-host Justin Hensley.
Oh, we're actually introing it like this.
Oh, why not? Take risks.
I am your other co-host, Dylan Hensley. You jabronis.
It's hard to think of insults that aren't like actually offensive now.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to say something mean, but I didn't want to say anything gendered.
Yeah.
Or ableist.
Dorks and nerds and check. What's up, posers?
I mean, asshole's always good.
Yeah. Piece of shit.
There's not enough low grade ones though. That, like, because you can't call everybody like an asshole. Like, that's a little too extreme for some situations. You turd.
You effing J's. We got off track already. This is the game where, using a number generator and the Rate Your Music punk charts, we pick one album and one EP at random to discuss. Last night we started to finalize our fest plans by booking our hotel room.
Yep.
We made plans without our fourth person in our group.
He voted yes in absentia.
Yeah. So we're just like, we're paying now to get that sweet deal.
Yep. It was a sweet deal.
It was crazy. This hotel we stayed at it last year, and it was decent price. I mean, it wasn't anything super cheap, but it wasn't crazy expensive either. But this year, like, for the longest time, the rates for that weekend were insanely high. They were like $135 a night, and I was like, that's insane. But then I checked it last night, and it was $61 a night for, what was it? For like twin beds. So 2 twin beds. But it was like, that's a way, way, way better deal, and it's cheaper than most of the other places around there. So if you haven't booked your hotel room yet, Google it. I'm not telling you where we're staying. That'd be a little weird. Come fight me.
Well, you don't want to blow up our spot, too.
True. Don't. Yeah. You don't want all the festers to come in and ruin it. And I guess we haven't really talked about the fest announcement since the last time we recorded. The last round of announcements went out, and they're down to, the last 300 tickets? Which is crazy. Yeah, they're only selling 3,000 tickets this year, and I know Rocky's Piano Bar is closing, and I'm wondering if they're losing another venue as well, and maybe that's why they're not selling as many tickets. Because Rocky's doesn't hold 500 people.
Rocky's is pretty big, though. So
yeah,
because they always use it for the comedy.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with the
chairs out,
now.
And I wonder where they're going to do that. Yeah,
I always liked Rocky's because it was like the most air conditioned out of all the venues. Best.
Yeah, it's the best feeling.
Yeah, and the comedy shows had the chairs, and it was nice. So, yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do as far as. I wonder if it'll be at that weird CBD oil shop that they had the other comedy show at.
No, that's not big enough.
True, and it's also outside.
Yeah,
so I don't know. Well, what else is there? Unless they find something new to use.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a possibility there's some other smaller or medium-sized place that hasn't been used, or they might. I don't know.
Like,
I'm trying to think of what other venues
Main
they
Street
have
Cellar. Used. Was it that thing called Market Street? What's the one beside Lucy's that they only use as a venue like occasionally? I think it's called like Market Street or something like that. I guess they could use Mother's Pub for the stand-up. That's not a very big room either, though. Maybe somebody new will come in and open up the exact same thing in Rockies.
Yeah, right. Or just another bar. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, like I guess it's the second wave of bands that was announced, which would be the last wave of bands, because the next wave is comedians and wrestlers, which I think are announced separately.
Yeah. That's it's an interesting announcement.
Yeah, like Against Me is playing 4 albums front to back across 2 nights, which is wild.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary, but
yeah, I mean, Against Me is a big deal at Fest, I guess, but it just means I don't have to go to Bo Diddley.
Yeah, I mean, there's that.
For 3 to 4 hours.
It makes me wonder, though, because some of those, because you said the mid card is really,
yeah, to use bar wrestling terms,
is really light this year, and the top is really stacked. I mean,
yeah,
because look at Jawbreaker, Jawbox, Dag Nasty, like Stiff Little Fingers,
which is insane. As Stiff Little Fingers is playing. Are they like the only 77 punk band to ever play Fest?
They might be.
That's insane. And they're one of my favorites from that era. I love Stiff Little Fingers. Is this the new Green Day?
Yeah.
It's the 40th anniversary of Inflammable Material, and they're playing in its entirety. Why did I not see this before right now? Holy shit.
What are the other... Yeah, we've got like... I mean, the Bronx, that's kind of a big deal.
I don't really like the Bronx that much, but I do like Mariachi El Bronx, so I'll probably go watch that. I want to see a mariachi band.
So stoked for American Steel.
Yes, I saw them one year at Fest. I want to say it was maybe like Fest 8 or 9. It was like the year after their last album came out. So like I'm wondering
about the way the headlining slots will break down, because I'm assuming Against Me is playing last 2 of the nights. If they're playing 2 albums in one set.
And Jawbreaker's probably closing the other night.
Right. So it'll be Jawbreaker, Against Me, or Against Me, Jawbreaker, Against Me, or something like that. Yeah. So that means that, like, is Less Than Jake gonna play 45 minutes before an Against Me set? Is Jawbox playing right before Jawbreaker? I mean... Stiff Little Fingers is playing a whole album. They're gonna need, a decent set time.
Well, for the Bo Diddley stages, most of those sets are like 45 minutes to an hour. Some of them are an hour and a half, like the bigger acts are.
I wonder how much. I'm trying to remember how long Jawbreaker played when I saw them.
They played about an hour and a half when I saw them.
Yeah. I just I hope we get a real good long Jawbox set.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be as long as Jawbox wants to play, I guess. I just hope they don't stick them in 8 seconds. That's my biggest fear.
Yeah, that'd be horrible. The line to get in, because people, it's going to take forever just to get through the line, because the shitty cowboy bouncers that take forever to ID and tag everyone.
Yeah.
It'll be, you'll have to go ahead and get a wristband earlier in the night, and then that way you can skip the line.
That way you don't have to show your ID.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah. I hope they're not in there. I mean, I would imagine Jawbox I imagine all the names you see on the top of that flyer are going to all be at Bo Diddley. Well, okay, let's do something real quick. This is Fest 18, right? What was Fest 17's flyer? And we'll look at the who was on the top there and where they played. So Lagwagon, Cursive, Pieball, Dead to Me, Mets, Tim Berry, and Radioactivity. Out of all of those...
Radioactivity played in 8 seconds.
Yeah. Did Mets too?
I think so.
Second row, Iron Sheik, Reviver. They played Bo Diddley. Roswell Kid played Bo Diddley. Lemuria played Bo Diddley. No, or did Lemuria play 8 seconds?
I don't know. I don't remember. I really feel like there's a possibility that Jawbox is going to be in 8 seconds, and that's going to suck. Because I bet they'll put them in 8 seconds with, like, Iron
with
Reagan.
Dag Nasty. Dag Nasty.
Yeah. They'll put heavier bands in there.
They love to put heavy bands in there, which is insane because heavy bands sound like shit in there. Yeah,
Just
I don't know.
Just a room full of breaking glass.
Mm-hmm. The only way you can get any decent sound is to get really close, and that crowd sucks in there.
Yeah. Yeah. it always
Anybody
does.
else playing in the smaller print there that looks exciting?
I mean, Casket Lottery, Casket Lottery and Abel Baker Fox that's pretty wild.
Yeah. There was one real weird one. The Huntingtons are playing.
Oh yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, that is very weird. Those Ben Weasel defending Christian Republicans.
Yeah.
To be honest, though, I will go watch them.
I don't know. Depends if there's a conflict. Like, I'm not gonna go see the Huntingtons over.
Well, not over Jawbox or...
I mean, I don't know. Even like Big Nothing or something. You know.
No, I'm gonna go see them. I loved those Ramones records. I think that's what they are. I loved a bunch of those Huntingtons records. I listened to them very extensively for in my early 20s. So I'm gonna see them. I'm not gonna be happy.
I don't know why you're gonna go see them.
I don't know. I saw someone else in the Fest Friends group said, I can't believe I'm going to throw out my convictions just to see the Huntingtons. So I was like, yeah, me too.
I don't know. I'm looking at this list, and there are so many bands that I would rather watch. Like, I'm not going to choose the Huntingtons over Graf Orlock. Or...
No, probably not. Oh, yeah. Graf Orlock are playing Fest, and I feel like it's an afterthought.
Yeah, I know.
You know they're going to be playing the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Because they love to do that, too. Yeah. Who else is on here? It's like they buried some names. Like, the Heat Tape are playing. That's... Does anyone remember when the Heat Tape was a thing?
No.
It was a Dear Landlord spin-off band. It was kind of like a lo-fi garage rock sort of thing. It's Brett from Dear Landlord. As far as I know, they've never played Fest. This is kind of a real rare performance too. Yeah, so that's kind of crazy. Who else is in there? There's a lot of the same people.
Well, I mean, it's Fest.
True.
That's how it always is.
That YouTube guy, Skatoon Network, is playing with a band. The guy who does ska covers of TV theme songs. Wolves and wolves and wolves and wolves.
Yeah.
They're going to plaster downtown with some stickers for their Friday 4:30 set.
Right.
Yeah, it's Dusker playing. See them buried way down there.
Yeah.
The Tenement Country Band.
I'll go see them. I
Yeah.
enjoyed them a lot. I'm excited for that. I'm going through the list, and I'm trying to see if there's anybody that I'm forgetting that I was really excited about.
I'm going to go see War on Women again, because after seeing them over for Jawbreaker, they have a great live show, so I'm definitely going to go watch them again as long as there's no major conflicts. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of really good top-heavy stuff, but for some reason, a lot of the bottom is like, okay. A lot of bands I've never heard of, which is not unusual for Fest, but...
All right, Grade is playing. That's weird.
Yeah, Great's played a bunch of times.
Have
Bob
they?
Nana's like buried at the bottom. Yeah, Great's played a few times.
Yeah, I guess it's always weird every time. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Fest. Definitely more than I was looking forward to it last year.
Yeah. I mean, last year was fun, but it was also a kind of a weak lineup. It was hard to get super excited for Fest 17.
It was so much of the same thing that...
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of bands we'd seen the year before that were like headliners. Though I do find it interesting that Iron Cheek and Reviver aren't playing this year.
Yeah, really weird.
My guess is they're either on tour somewhere or recording, which I guess we're about due for a new Iron Cheek record in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm very excited now, which is of course going to wane as the summer goes on, because it's hard to maintain that excitement year round because otherwise the days would be pretty brutal if you're just sitting thinking about Fest every day. But
yeah, I'll get really excited again whenever I book my flight.
I'll get excited when they announce the comedians and the wrestlers.
Yeah, That's always cool. That's becoming one of my favorite parts of Fest.
Both of those, comedy and wrestling?
Yeah, they're kind of like a sideshow, really, to Fest, but I don't know. I usually enjoy them both a lot.
Yeah. Well, last year, I think we watched the entire Fest wrestling show?
Almost.
I think we left at one point.
Yeah, I think we might have left and came back, but
for the most part, we watched everything.
Well, and there wasn't hardly anything. There was nothing else I wanted to see.
That's true. Sunday was real light last year.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm hoping for some big names in the comedy. I would love to see Kyle Kinane or Shane Torres come back. You never know with them. They're getting bigger and bigger as it is, but I don't know. They'd be really fun. Of course, I wouldn't mind finding a new, learning about a new comedian that I've never heard before. I would love to see some cool guest spots for Fest Wrestling because, I mean, I follow them year round, so I see who they have, and they usually have a lot of the their regulars, like they show up a lot. All great wrestlers, but it's always nice when they can pull out something unique or like special, a guest.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we chattered too long.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a time limit for this episode.
Yeah. I guess we should dive into the show. All right, for this episode, we got the year 1997. And as usual, we like to take a look at the Rate Your Music charts for that year and look at some of the big trends. And it's funny, this is technically the second week in a row we've done 1997 with Ace O'Caris last week, tricking us into thinking they had a 2001 album. This is a weird front page. Number one is Slater-Kinney's Dig Me Out. That's pretty cool. That's a really good record. That's a great band. Higher than I would actually expect, really.
Out of this top 10, though, one of the few albums that's really deserving of being in the top 3.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are weird, out of place records to me. There's His Hero's Gone, Ass Suck, Discordance Axis, and Oblivions. I don't even really know who the Oblivions are.
I mean, there's 2 His Hero Is Gone records in the top 10.
Jesus.
And that Charles Bronson record is good, but it's not a top 10 record. It's not better than Fuel for the Hate Game.
No. Most of those records are not better than Fuel for the Hate Game.
Like I said, if I were to rearrange this, I would probably put Forever and Counting by Hot Water Music.
If we're just going off the front page,
on number 1, and then I would probably put 10 Songs by I Hate Myself and then Dig Out by Slater-Kinney, or maybe flip those two. I don't know.
Yeah, you'd have to listen to them back to back to figure it out. Man, this is a weird ass front page. So,
and then maybe The Power of Falling, whatever it's called, Power of Failing by Mineral.
Yeah, but if you keep going,
Progression Through Unlearning.
Yeah, by Snapcase. Refused Songs to Fan the Flames of Discontent. That's their best record. Catharsis, Samsara. I love that record, but it's also very high. There.
Jersey's Best Answers by Lifetime.
Yeah,
that should be.
I'm surprised that's not a little higher. Fuck, Living Sacrifices Reborn is on here. Number 27. I didn't realize how well received that record was outside of the Christian music bubble. Shit, Shia Lude's Hearts Once Nourished with Hope and Compassion's on here. Smart Went Crazy. Who is in that band? Is that
That's Guy.
Yeah, right. Spring Side Project. No, it's not.
It's not Guy?
No.
What was his band?
No.
I'm thinking of
Happy Go Licky?
Yes.
Yeah. Smart Went Crazy is the Farrakhan.
Yeah.
Pre-Farrakhan band. You got Knapsack in here on day 3 of my new life. Aquabats, Fury of the Aquabats. This is a very strange list. If you go to the next page, 42, 43, and 44 are a perfect example of what was going on.
Yeah, I was going to say,
punk rock.
It is, page 2 is the really accurate depiction of 1997.
Yeah. It's the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, Let's Face It, with their big hit, Knock on Wood. Is that the name of the song?
The song is called, what's it called?
The Impression That I Get. And number 43 is The Offspring's Ixnay on the Hombre, which, what was on that album?
Oh, God. Ixnay is...
Gone Away. That's the big song on that one. All I Want is another big single, but I can't remember how that one goes.
And then
Way Down the Line, which is on the Crazy Taxi soundtrack. is on that album.
Number 44 is Nimrod by Green Day.
Yeah, that's what got Hitching a Ride on it, and and Good Riddance, Time of Your Life, the graduation song for the next 25 years.
And if you keep going, 45, Satisfaction is the Death of Desire by Hatebreed. How 90s is that?
Yeah, I mean, that's the Hatebreed record, right?
And then further down, you've got Dude Ranch by Blink-182.
Gross.
You've got
Goldfinger's Hang-Ups.
American Psycho by Misfits. Is that the first Graves record?
It's like, no, maybe, no. First Graves record is Famous Monsters. That was in 99. No.
Yeah,
also, this isn't even an album.
Is
It's a compilation.
Yeah.
Why is it on this page? I thought compilations were supposed to be separate. No, it's not a compilation. What is it?
No, it's Michael Graves. It's the first reunion record.
There it is. Okay, I saw the Static Age. I was looking at the chronological list of releases, and Static Age was listed, and I was thinking that was the first one.
No, Static Age. The Static Age was the shelved.
Yeah.
Classic Misfits record.
Yeah. There we go. Number 101 is Sublime, Secondhand Smoke. That's a big 97 album there. That helped bring ska to the mainstream. That and the Boss Tones. So, what are the trends of 97? What can we? I think the 3-4 major. Okay, I think I can break it down even more than that. Hardcore is shifting towards metalcore. Yeah, for sure.
Shitty pop punk is getting
all the rage.
Is probably not at its peak, but right. 97 is probably the breakout year for it, right?
I mean, Dookie is really the breakout shitty pop punk. That was 94.
Yeah.
So 95, 96 is when you got all your copycats. 97 is kind of in the middle of the pop punk boom and the beginnings of the third wave ska boom.
Right.
As far as going into mainstream. There's also a really big emo boom going on here.
That was one of the other big ones I was going to say. There's Joan of Arc and Mineral.
I Hate Myself, Promise Ring, Van Pelt, Dismemberment Plant. Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Rainer Maria. You've got your latter, your late 90s, early 2000s Discord sound starting to become a thing. Pre-Farrakhan. Let's see. Was that Les Savvy Fav record a Discord record?
I don't know.
Were they ever actually a Discord band? I just always associate them with...
I don't associate them with that sound at all. I associate them with a 2000s post-hardcore.
Oh yeah. No, they were on French Kiss, and that record was on Self-Starter. Yeah.
I always equate them to Foxy Shazam. I don't know why, but they're always tied to them in my head.
Yeah, you have some things that are kind of that are on their way out, the Fat Wreck sound is. I mean, we've got a Pennywise and a Lagwagon record in the top 40,
and No Effects,
right? But those are probably the last big ones for all of those bands.
I don't know. There was that Bush era revival of Fat Wreck bands. So, And then Fat Wreck also had some ska bands too. So,
right.
Yeah. We are.
It doesn't seem as prominent though at this point.
Well, it's because what happens next is nu metal.
Right.
Within the next year or two, and that kind of shifts any mainstream attention on punk rock into a very shameful period of American music. Oh, number 170 is Smash Mouth's Fush You Mang, so I stand corrected. I wonder what now I'm really curious. If Walking on the Sun is 97, what other cheesy rock stuff that's like not really punk is going on at this exact same time? Because if my memory of 1997 was pop music was weird.
Well, the Rate Your Music charts, the full Rate Your Music charts for 1997 are not, they don't reflect the mainstream. I mean, it's all of the indie stuff. Oh, here we go. Third Eye Blind, self-titled. Fat of the Land by Prodigy was that year.
Wow.
I mean, there's Wu-Tang Forever. That album came out in 97. Let's see. Color and the Shape by Foo Fighters. Which seems like that was earlier, but
no,
I guess that's right.
Yeah, that's the big one, right? The big Foo Fighters record.
Yeah. There's
there's a lot of indie in here. Ben Folds 5. What was that? Is Brick on that album?
Which Ben Folds record is it? It's probably
Whatever and Ever Amen. Yeah, it's got Brick
Yeah.
on it. Blur by Blur. So what is that what you call it? Song 2. Woo! Well, we've played around long enough on these charts, but I guess we should get into our album.
If you just Google albums that came out in 1997, you've got OK Computer, Be Here Now by Oasis, Homogenic by Bjork. Let's see, Art of War by Bone Thugs. There's
Days of the New by Days of the New.
Yeah, there's Super Duper Fly by Missy Elliott.
Everclear, So Much for the Afterglow.
Come On Over by Shania Twain.
Marcy's Playground. Our Lady Peace. 311 Transistor.
Oh boy, Backstreet's Back.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, that makes sense. That's right when that era started.
Well, anyway.
Yeah. Cool. Let's talk about our album instead of looking at 1997 albums.
The broader context is important.
Yeah, I guess, but maybe not for these two albums.
I guess it indicates how far from the mainstream these two records are.
Definitely. So we got number 122 on the albums chart, and it is Tuesday and their sole full-length album, Freewheelin. From Chicago, Illinois, formed in 1996 after the band members' previous group Slapstick broke up. And yes, Tuesday is part of the humongous Slapstick family tree. This record was released on Asian Man Records, one of the greatest punk record labels in history, and features Dan Andriano on bass and vocals, Matthew Stamps on guitar, and Robert Kellenberger on drums. Produced by Robert Barry, who worked on a bunch of late 90s Asian Man records like The Chinkies and Slow Gherkin and MU30. Robert played in... Yeah, MU330. Robert played in Colossal and Duval and The Smoking Popes. And, oh yeah, Dan was in a little band called Alkaline Trio.
Right.
Way to bury the lead, I guess.
Man, that Slapstick family tree. It's just...
That thing is...
The Lawrence
insane.
Arms, the Broadways. I mean, good grief.
Right. Like, they spawned Lawrence Arms and Alkaline Trio, two of the biggest orgcore bands that have ever existed. Oh, even less than Jake branches off of slapstick? I did not realize that. Ooh. Maybe that's where the horn players went. All right, so what do you think of Freewheelin?
I like it.
I like it.
I've listened to this record before.
Yeah.
I always kind of forget what it sounds like, though.
You don't just think of softer Alkaline Trio?
Well, I always want to think that it sounds more like God Damn It than it does.
And it does not. God Damn It is like twice the speed of this record.
Yeah.
It sounds more like later Alkaline Trio. Maybe Good Morning.
Yeah, I was going to say,
But
it
even
sounds
not-
like Good Morning. Or it sounds like Maybe I'll Catch Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like
More melodic.
not Good Morning. It doesn't sound like Good Morning.
It doesn't sound like From Here to Infirmary either.
No.
I don't know. It, yeah, you always wanted to compare it to Alkaline Trio because Dan's in it. And there are elements there, like, for sure. Like, the Dan songs on a lot of Alkaline Trio albums do have some of the feel of this record. But this is a much more emo record than most Alkaline Trio records.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this album sounds the most like, obviously, the Dan songs from the first two Alkaline Trio records.
Yeah.
From Here to Infirmary, his songs, there's a pretty distinct shift in his songwriting, I feel like, at that point.
Yeah.
He got a lot better at writing hooks.
That's true. That's probably one of the big lacking things on this album. There aren't nearly as many hooks as you want there to be. But that being said, the opening track, Goodbyes Have Been Said, is like one of the best songs on this entire album. And it's super catchy. And then even Please Come Home, I believe. Is that the one about summertime?
Yeah.
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 So like those got some pretty big choruses there.
I got a few things that I didn't think about until after you were gone. Please come home. Please come home. We said goodbye and now a feeling that I've never felt keeps me alone. This morning I was thinking about our summertime. 99% of our time. When I thought we could do it again this summertime. Drinking your room, stay after the sunrise. Summertime. 99% of our time. Oh wait, you didn't come back, and I got a feeling that you never will. Please come home. But still I'll call again and again, reminding me I'm still in love. Please come home. Oh, I miss you so much. Please come home. This morning I was thinking about our summertime. 99% of our time. When I thought we could do it again this summertime. Drinking your room, stay up till the sunrise. Summertime. 99% of our time.
But there are like a lot of, I don't know, Another Disco Party's got a good chorus, and Disappear's got another huge chorus. So it maybe they don't stick in your head quite as well as the Alkaline Trio songs do.
Yeah, I mean they're very big and fun sounding.
Yeah.
They're just not like very memorable.
They're hard to sing along with.
Yeah.
Like Dan's a little bit of a mush mouth on this album.
Yeah, it's his voice. You can clearly tell it's him. I mean, he has such a distinct voice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, his delivery it's a little loose.
Yeah. Yeah, and even the guitar playing by Matthew, it definitely falls more in line with traditional emo. So like, it's not quite as, I don't know. It's got a little bit of Jazz June. It's got a little bit of mineral to it. But then there are some bigger like Get Up Kids and Promise Ring type riffs in there too. So it's a nice combination of like noodly and crunchy. Like it doesn't lean too heavily in one direction.
Yeah, I would say it's not too different from Rainer Maria.
Yeah, that's
in terms of like that balance of the two ends of the emo spectrum in '97. Yeah, I would put this kind of right next to that Rainer Maria record in terms of emo records from 1997 that I want to listen to in 2019.
You don't want to listen to 4 Minute Mile? or Power Failing? Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge... I'm not a huge 90s emo head. Like, I'm not super into Braid or a lot of the bands from this era. I don't know. I don't know how it's... I like the heavier stuff from earlier in the 90s, and then I like the poppier stuff from the 2000s. Like, I'm not as super into Sunny Day Real Estate style emo as I am Tuesday style emo, I guess. It's definitely a little poppier, a little more melodic, but there is a little bit of sameness to this album, especially on the verses. Like the guitar playing, a lot of the verses are very just kind of repetitive. Yeah, I guess amongst Alkaline Trio fans, there is that never-ending debate over whether who's the better vocalist, whether it's Dan or Matt Skiba, and people have that debate all the time. But don't most people wind up landing on the side of Dan?
I don't know if I'm. Are you thinking in terms of like the better songwriter or the better vocalist, or both?
I guess both.
I think. In terms of, if you're looking at the full Alkaline Trio discography, including solo projects, Dan is the better total package in terms of singing ability, lyric writing, melodic writing. I think he's written the best Alkaline Trio songs.
Yeah.
But if you look at early on... Matt's great. Like,
yeah.
And if anything, I feel like he makes the first. Matt's kind of the reason that they got anywhere.
Yeah, well, he does sing more of the songs.
Yeah.
So it is harder to compare because Dan has the luxury of being like only presenting the songs that he feels that are strong enough. Whereas Matt, it's probably a 70-30 split as far as songwriting duties. So
yeah, I mean, and there's something to be said for Matt's ability to just crank out catchy stuff. I mean,
yeah, he does have a tendency to lean on cheesier lyrics,
Yeah,
like
definitely.
corny puns and
But that's
horror movie puns.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, that's their shit.
That's part of I was gonna say that's part of the appeal of Alkaline Trio is that they're both really corny and really earnest.
Yeah, I just always found myself enjoying the dance songs the most out of Alkaline Trio's discography, and especially in later albums. Like, dance songs are like the stars of those records. Because even albums like Agony and Irony and This Addiction, the dance songs are still pretty good.
Yeah.
I do think that those first 4 Alkaline Trio records are perfect, though. God Damn It, From Here to Infirmary, Maybe I'll Catch Fire, and Good Morning. They're classics. There's a reason why they're a beloved band. And then Crimson has a lot of good songs on it, but it's also that record that everybody's kind of split on. And then the albums after that don't have that many defenders until you get to This Addiction, or not This Addiction. My Shame Is True, and the most recent record. Yeah, I don't know. I just always like Dan's songs a little more. I like his voice a little better. And you're right, though. His side projects tend to be better, but he also is in less of them. Like, Dan's just got Tuesday and his solo stuff and The Falcon, really.
Yeah.
And Matt's got, The Secrets and Heavens and Hells. And he had that that split with Kevin Seconds, which is a classic. Well, his side is a classic.
Right.
We have a running joke with our friends about Kevin Seconds' side of the of the split,
Tracy,
and how quickly you run, how quickly you run to stop playing it as soon as Tracy comes on. I don't know. I like those Kevin Seconds songs.
Yeah.
Weirdly, I like those songs more than I like 7 Seconds. But yeah, what are the? Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't really have much more else I can really say about this record other than it's an enjoyable record and I like it a lot. But it's probably not as good as Dan's 2 later solo records.
It's nowhere near as good as his 2 solo records,
Hurricane Season and Party Adjacent. But I do think it's, I don't know. It's a great starting point for Alkaline Trio. I feel like its sound fits in with the greater Alkaline Trio tri-state area. If you wanted to look at the roots of Alkaline Trio, but maybe not so much want to go all the way back to Slapstick and follow those family trees.
Yeah, I mean, Slapstick is such a different thing from Tuesday.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, it's like this Tuesday record is kind of just I don't know. I would say it's like an even scrappier. God damn it.
That's a little softer because God damn it has an edge to it that this record doesn't have to me.
Yeah, but this feels this record feels really off the cuff. It feels a lot like they just kind of tracked it all at once, which I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Just from the sound
definitely only existed for like 2 years, from like 97 to 98. Yeah. I want to say they formed in 97. They had like a demo that I also really love. I really love that demo because it has a cover of Put a Little Love in Your Heart. and then they do Freewheelin'. They add a second guitarist. Is this the order it goes in? They add a second guitarist and record that EP. No, they record that EP before the Freewheelin'. And they add a second guitarist after Freewheelin' comes out and then break up before recording anything else. I can't remember who the other guitarist was in Tuesday, but he's not on any of the albums. They added Tyler Wiseman as a second guitarist in like late 97, so I believe it's after this album. And then he later went on to play in The Honor System and Whale Horse, which I like those records as well. It's more Lawrence Arms' extended family. Yeah, it's just interesting that he's not on any of the Tuesday recordings. But then they broke up, and then Alkaline Trio like starts immediately after Tuesday's done.
Well, what would you rate this album overall?
Overall, I give it a 4.0.
That's where I was gonna land. I think it's really enjoyable to listen to. It doesn't really stick with you after that, though.
Right.
Other than like a general good feeling.
Yeah, just like it's a good vibe that it gives off. It's warm tones and it's catchy rhythms and good choruses. So like it's a summer album, I'd say. It's but yeah, you're right. It doesn't quite hang around in your memory. Like the only one that really hangs around is the opening track for me. 4.0 seems fair. I don't know. We may be giving it a little bit of an edge due to our partiality to Alkaline Trio and Dan. But anyway, that's our opinion. You don't have to like it. All right, let's talk about our EP. We got number 48 on the Rate Your Music charts, and it is Cleveland Bound Death Sentence and their self-titled 7-inch Cleveland Bound Death Sentence.
Slim Jim. What about the time? Don't you turn up the radio? Not to the old, not your sound in the park, in the coast. What about the future we tried so hard to hide from? I think it's never gonna come again. One more party, one more show, one more chance to go downtown and stand around. Anything to keep from being alone. That's the only thing we could do on the street with some fools I call friends. Didn't know better of the difference than wasting time. Wasn't a crime. What about the time? Not to turn off the radio, not to the old, not to sound in the park, in the cold. What about the future? We were so scared would never come. Is this what we were afraid of? What about the nights drinking down our past time? Don't you find $100 sweat on the sidewalk? Split 3 ways and number 2 back to speed. And 500 copies of my motherfucking fancy. On the street with some fools I call friends.
Oh, damn. Released on THD Records, who released stuff by Government Issue, Swizz, Pinhead Gunpowder, and The Bloodhound Gang.
Why?
Yeah, they had like 2 EPs. It was like pre-Hooray for Boobies, Bloodhound Gang, which I hate that that's the name of their album, but they're a really dumb band.
Yeah.
This is the first of 3 Cleveland Bound Death Sentence EPs, and the personnel is Saint Patrick, aka Paddy Costello, on bass and vocals, Aaron Comet Bus on drums, Spitball on guitar, and Emily Clausen on guitar and vocals. Speaking of side projects, Paddy is famously from Dillinger Four, and also The Arrivals, The Slow Death, and he's played with Off With Their Heads at some points too. Aaron Comet Bus is known for Pinhead Gunpowder and Crypt Shrine, and also his zine Comet Bus, which is pretty famous. And Emily Clausen played in a band called The Saltines, who I was curious about, and I listened to one of their EPs, and I fell in love with it. And also realized that Dear Landlord covered one of their songs on their full-length album. Yeah. Whiskey and Records, the song. Yeah. I was like, holy shit, I know this song, and I had to like figure out which track, what band covered it. I thought it was Off With Their Heads for a minute, because Off With Their Heads love to cover a lot of Midwest bands, but it was Dear Landlord, which in itself is related to Off With Their Heads. So yeah, so I love Cleveland Bound Death Sentence. I have had a burnt copy of the compilation for a really long time. I used to listen to it constantly. It's very easy because it's like only 18 minutes long or something like that. It's like 13 songs in 18 minutes. So I always treated it as an album, even though it was 3 separate EPs. So I knew these songs very, very well. And as a Dillinger Four fan, Paddy's songs were always some of my favorites, depending on the album. But for the most part, I think I like Paddy's songs the most out of D4's discography. But I don't know, they've all got incredible songs each. So I mean,
I was less familiar with this. I have heard Cleveland Bound Death Sentence, and I know I've listened to the whole compilation before, but it doesn't have as much personal weight for me. Okay, I do feel like we got the weaker of the EPs.
You think?
Well, I don't know.
Rumble Seats and Running Boards and Love American Style, the first 2 songs on here, are kind of like the quintessential Cleveland Mountain Death Sentence songs. And then there's Drain on here, which was later covered by Off With Our Heads. And then the song, and then The Difference Between Us, which is the one that Emily gets to sing the second verse. I don't know. I think these are my favorite Cleveland Mountain Death Sentence songs. Love American Style is probably my favorite song they ever wrote, with its na 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 chorus. So, well, what did you think of it overall then?
I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, it's like really early Dillinger 4, but rougher sounding.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy it. I mean, I like it a lot.
Yeah, I was really curious what Dillinger 4 was doing in 1997, and they had put out an EP called More Songs About Girlfriends and Bubblegum, and I listened to it, and it is like the traditional early D4 sound, like this is pre-Midwestern songs, and so they have that little bit of a hardcore edge that D4 had, but they're also a little slicker. This Cleveland Mountain Death Sentence to me is like, it's raw. Like, it's just like this. It's a pop punk record, but it's raw and dirty and dingy, and you could tell they recorded it in the basement somewhere, their practice space, and but at the same, and they're all like shouting at the top of their lungs just because they can't actually hear very well over the PA to see how good they're, if they're staying on key. And I don't know, I love it. It's some of my favorite type of Midwest pop punk. Like, it's gruff and melodic, but not in like a No Idea Gainesville sort of way. Like, it's kind of what Off With Their Heads and Dear Landlord were inspired by the most. A lot of those Jesse Thorson records are definitely influenced by this type of pop punk. I mean, that's what they are. I don't know. This is one of my favorite sounds in Midwestern pop punk, especially its influence on early 2000s, and even in like early, I guess, late 2000s with like the No Idea pop punk boom.
It's funny to listen to this and how raw it is and how aggressive it is. Like, the texture of it is so caustic. It's so funny that you still can't really classify it as anything other than pop punk. Yeah. And there's something so like thoroughly poppy about it. Yeah. Just the melodicism of it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, then there's even songs on there though, like probably my least favorite song on it's What Good Thing. It's the really it's the one that Paddy's like super fuzzy. It sounds like he's singing through a radio.
Yeah. Which that's kind of a thing that Dillinger Four liked to do.
Yeah, they did do that quite a bit. There's like weird noise tracks and like tons of feedback. In the
just like singing songs through of like a feedbacking PA and like telephone recordings and
yeah. To me, this is just a 7-inch that's like the sleeve is just a folded up piece of paper, like a Xerox piece of paper. and it's mailed in an envelope with like no padding, and you get it in the mail, and it's like half the corner is like dinged up, and like it's sticking out of the package.
You bought it new, and it's already destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is what, like, it's like the stereotypically shitty quality that people associate with punk, but good.
Yeah, like good songs.
Like it's what someone who doesn't know what punk really is or sounds like thinks punk sounds like, but then it's like actually really, really good and not that
it kind of
punk
fits,
band that they make up for a movie or something, you know.
Yeah. It kind of fits in. Having Aaron Comabus in here actually kind of gives you an idea what type of band it is. Because if you think about like the Bay Area pop punk bands and like from like pre-Green Day, I guess, like a lot of the I guess post-Green Day too, like Pinhead Gunpowder was in this vein. Like it's poppy but it's scuzzy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like a lot of Sarah Kirsch bands from the Bay Area were like that. When they weren't like full on hardcore.
Yeah.
Well, what would you give this EP?
I'd say I'm probably about a 4.0 as well.
Well, I'm a 5-star man.
Yeah. It is just a little too raw for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's raw for sure. I don't know, but I have a lot of memories tied to these songs. I got into them around the same time I got into Dillinger Four, and my friend was like, "Hey, you should listen to Cleveland Bound Death Sentence because it's Paddy's other band." And I think it's really the only other band that he sings in. Because I always wanted to like a lot of his other side projects, like The Arrivals, and he just plays bass in them, like he doesn't sing.
Yeah.
And like the Slow Death, I remember getting super excited when they announced that it was going to be Jesse Thorson and Paddy and Mike Yerg, and Paddy and Mike Yerg don't sing.
Their contributions are minimal.
Yeah. And then they're gone after the first demo.
Yeah, you go see Slow Death at Fest, and you're like, "What? Where's Paddy? Where's Mikey?"
Yeah, like we watched the Arrivals were on tour with Off of Their Heads, and we were like, "All right, Paddy's gonna say all sorts of crazy shit," and during the Arrivals, he didn't say anything. It's like, God damn it! Our one connection to Cleveland Bound Dissidents was at that show. This was around the time that Off With Their Heads put out that picture disc that has 2 Cleveland Bound Death Sentence covers on it, and Drain is one of them. And so, like, at the one point, the band was like, "Hey, what do you guys want us to play next?" And us and our group of friends were yelling at them to play Drain, the Cleveland Bound Death Sentence song. And then Ryan's like, yeah, let's do Drain. And he's like, "Where's Paddy?" Hey, so let's go get Paddy. Like, everybody in the room is just yelling for Paddy, and like our friend like runs outside to find Paddy and try and get him to come inside, but he wasn't out there. He's like, "Yeah, I bet Paddy's outside talking about Japanese hardcore or something like that."
Yeah.
And so we knew nobody could find Paddy, and so they just played the song themselves. But I was like, man, I almost saw
How close it was.
Paddy sing Cleveland Bound Death Sentence song. So like, damn. But yeah, he did. When he's not in playing D4 songs, he's not like the star. Though, do you remember when Tenement played Fest?
And Paddy, yeah, a very drunk Paddy
just stood on stage the whole time. He introed them, called them the greatest rock and roll band in history, and didn't leave the stage, and just kind of like stood behind them watching them the whole time. They played 5 songs and left.
Yeah,
with their 45-minute set time.
That was a great set.
Yeah, it was. Because it was after they had released Predatory Headlights, right?
No, it was.
I thought they had already put that album out.
It was before that.
But it was after Napalm Dream.
It was like the perfect time to see them.
Yeah. Well,
because it was just like a 20-minute set of Napalm Dream songs. It was just perfect.
No, it was I'd say it was 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It wasn't even 20. They played them, didn't talk, and left. But then we even saw them right after they released. Was it Predatory Lights or Headlights?
It's Headlights. Predatory Headlights.
You know, they released the gigantic double album. Yes, Headlights. The gigantic double album, and then we saw them and they played 15 minutes
Yeah,
again. And 2 songs from Napalm Dream. That's fine. Dusk makes up for it by playing a really long time.
Yeah.
This
Has been Tangent Radio.
Yeah, Tangent Corner.
That's the thing, is both of the bands that we talked about today are so interconnected with other bands.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Yeah. Well,
I forgot to mention this in my notes. I found a review on our Mortal Enemies Interpunk's website. But did you know you can write reviews on Interpunk for like product reviews?
Should just
But I
write
found
a bunch of product reviews.
So I found one for this, and the comment was, it's okay. I thought it came out after D4, but it turns out the guy was in this band before D4. The recording kind of sucks. The drums get drowned out a lot, but get a Dillinger 4 CD. I have Versus God and get Midwestern songs. It's a much better. Also, buy every AFI CD available. Then you'll be just like me. No, this band did not exist before Cleveland Bound Dead Sentence. It existed before Midwestern songs, but D4 had quite a few 7-inches before Cleveland Bound Dead Sentence even started. So, I don't know, I just thought it was funny. Buy every AFI CD.
You won't like them, but...
Yeah. All right. Well, next week we got the year 1978. We're returning to the 70s. And we got number 5 on the album charts, and it is X-Ray Specs, Germ-Free Adolescence. And for our EP, we got number 17, and it is The Deadbeats, and their EP, Kill the Hippies.
Whatever that is. We'll find out.
Yeah, it's 77 punk, so. All right, well, continue to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at PunkLottoPod. I rarely use the Facebook, so you really don't have to follow us there. It doesn't get any interactivity, and nobody.
It's the most pointless social media platform.
Instagram and Twitter are where we're most active. And we have an email address as punklottopod@gmail.com, and our website is punklottopod.simplecast.fm. Please rate, review, and subscribe. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Play. And if you give us some reviews, it helps people find the show. So I guess that'll do it for this week.
I'm not going to record anymore.
Is this the new Green Day?